Baghdad, 2003. The reign of Saddam Hussein is over. The Americans are in command, and no one is in control. Former cop-turned-military contractor Christopher Henry knows that better than anyone. He's in country to train up a new Iraqi police force, and one of his recruits has just been murdered. With civil authority in tatters and dead bodies clogging the streets, Chris is the only person in the green zone with any interest in finding out who killed him, and why. Chris's inquiry brings him first to Sophia, an American-raised Iraqi who now sits on the governing council, and then to Nasir, a grizzled veteran of Saddam's police force, and probably the last real investigator left in Baghdad. United by death but divided by conflicting loyalties, the three must help each other navigate the treacherous landscape of post-invasion Iraq in order to hunt down the killers. But are their efforts really serving justice, or a much darker agenda? If you like our videos, we invite you to subscribe to our channel and give us a like. It doesn't take up much of your time, and it motivates us to continue creating awesome chronicles. The story told through the comics is quite interesting because the visual experience adds an additional component to the reading, as well as the use of color and shadows, which is not always possible with a movie. And in the case of the Sheriff of Babylon, it does achieve a powerful effect thanks to that situation. Written by acclaimed author Tom King, who would later become famous for writing Batman and Mr. Miracle, Sheriff of Babylon is an engaging journey through the streets of war-torn Baghdad, where not only are the ruins of buildings, but the lives of thousands of people are also ruined. If King brings something to the story, it is credibility, since he drew on his experiences as a CIA counterterrorism operations officer in Iraq to write it. Verisimilitude, not objectivity, we clarify, since this story is not in black and white, nor are its protagonists heroes and villains. Its three main characters, Christopher Henry, Sophia, and Nasser, each with their own motivations, demons, and secrets, whose lives are intertwined in more ways than one. Chris and Sophia are lovers. Nasser murdered Sophia's family during Hussein's rule and now receives their help. All three are needed to build a future for Iraq, whatever that means. Of the three, Nasir is the most important character, since he is the Sheriff of Babylon, or Baghdad as the story was originally going to be called. As Sophia recalls in a passage, Sophia was a princess, Jewish in fact, daughter of the king and married to the sheriff of the tribe. One day she lay down to sleep and dreamed of the moon. He saw that it was coming, falling down, falling, falling, until it seemed as though she was grasping the moon with her hands. When she woke up, she told her husband about her dream. He told her that it meant that she wanted to marry his enemy, the Prophet Muhammad, praised be his name. Enraged, he hit her. In the face, here, on the cheek. And then came the Prophet. Muhammad came to his kingdom, his sword was raised. He killed his father. He captured her husband and killed him too. After this, the Prophet sent for the princess, the girl, only 16 or 17 years old. He told him, "Choose. Follow your family to the arena or follow me to welcome the one true God." She chose God, of course, just there. And they married. She was Sophia. She was the wife of the Prophet. He listened to her. She became perhaps one of the greatest women that ever lived. A woman later blessed to save the Prophet's life from certain death. My mother named me Sophia after her. The Americans turned it into Sophia after they took me there, after Saddam murdered my family. But it's Sophia, the princess who dreamed of the moon. And you know, they say when she was there in front of him, standing in front of the Prophet, bless his name and all his glory, the Prophet who had her father and her husband murdered. While she was standing there, they say that Sophia still had the bruise, the sheriff's hit mark on his face. What begins as an investigation to clarify the circumstances of the death of Chris's recruit gives way to a complex approach to the reality of Iraqis, their lives, their fears, their motivations, but not their hopes, which no longer exist. And that beyond common projects, each person has their own agenda, which is marked not so much by what they want to do, but by what they have to do. And while all this is happening, there is time to explore guilt, paranoia, loss of identity, and preservation of memory, the futility of distinguishing between justice and revenge, as well as various reflections on the values of society and its scant relevance in an increasingly politicized world. And of course, it also shows that in war, as in life, nothing remains static, not even the motivations and principles that seemed so clear at the beginning. For the sample, King himself once said that he joined the CIA after the attacks of September 11th, 2001 because, like almost everyone else, I wanted to fight the people who brought down the buildings. Like a million others, I volunteered to do what I could. By the time I finished training, we were at war with Iraq and they needed people, so we went there. It wasn't for that long, only less than 5 months in 2004. But as we already said, time changes certain perceptions about things, because in a conversation between his alter ego, Christopher Henry, and Fatima, Nasir's wife, they have the right to laugh at what happened, when Fatima jokes that if she would have been piloting the planes, the attack would have been better because she is a lousy driver. Or when he understands that the Iraqis could be blamed for what happened in 2001. Muslims cannot make smart bombs, so we put men on planes. Let them be the intelligence for the bomb. You didn't put anyone on a plane, it was someone else. I forgot it. Everyone forgets it. And it is necessary to remember that one of the justifications for the invasion of Iraq was the alleged relationship that Saddam Hussein had with Al-Qaeda for the 9/11 attacks, a relationship that was never demonstrated and that surely did not exist, but of which a great part of the U.S. citizens were convinced in 2003, and that a large part still believes it was real, despite the absence of evidence in this regard. Christopher's character is the one with the deepest development, and the one that really follows the path traced by King, something that is reflected even in the aesthetic aspect, since he begins shaved and organized and progressively looks less radiant, until ending with a bushy beard that makes him look tougher as he needs to. Because at the end of this journey, Chris is not the soldier who wanted to help rebuild a country, but simply someone who becomes aware of his true role, that the important thing is to solve the problems that arise. If fixing a problem vindicates justice, fine. But if not, it doesn't matter. And that visual aspect is one of the strengths of the comic, since the art of Mitch Gerards fits perfectly with the context of the story, transmits the emotions of the characters, and recreates the Baghdad settings with great realism. The story ends without an endpoint, because although the mystery of the murder is revealed, some accounts are settled and decisions are made to move forward. In reality, the war and its consequences do not end there. That same Tom King, who, when he left Iraq, believed that the United States had won the war, now knows that he was wrong and that, despite everything and so many sacrifices that are never really useful, life goes on. Although that does not mean that the things are getting better. That has been all for now. Until the next episode of The Chronicler's Cave. Remember to subscribe to our channel and visit us at our website to find more chronicles.